So like I've always had like 2 or 3 or 4 ads like carrying the weight of the account. But
this is normal, right?
Welcome back to Brain Driven Brands. Happy
back.
Friday. This won't get posted on Friday, but we're recording on Fridays. So we're in a good mood for y'all. How are you doing, Sarah?
Great. So great. This has been one of those weeks where I'm like, I've got a lot done. I like really put some effort into being productive this week and actually like staying on task with things. So sometimes I'll take like a random afternoon off. And that was a couple days ago. I stopped working. I mean, granted, it was like 4 when I stopped working. But for Sarah, that's
a lot better than 6, guys.
That's
all right?
better than
That's
6.
way better.
I got a full hour of just chilling. Kids are out of school, which is, now the real work starts. So we're headed to Florida pretty soon. So just takes some time. It's been good. Weird segue. But I ran a couple polls this week to try and figure out how many people are actually seeing more than maybe like 2 to 3 ads as like full-time winners in the ad account. Yeah. Because I had this question come in from my school group where everybody was like, is this happening? Because I only have maybe like 3 or 4 that are at the top. We can't get anybody to like win outside of those 3 or 4 anytime. So I want to see what you think, because then I can tell you what the poll said.
Yeah, so like I've always had like 2 or 3 or 4 ads like carrying the weight of the account, but
this is normal, right?
Yeah, like, but we've been in cycles of like we can beat them eventually, but and then that just becomes like one of the new 3, and that other one kind of falls off. But like I feel like every account I've ever run or been in has had 2 to 4 ads that make up like 70% of account spend. And if performance is good, then great, they're doing their job. If not, like then we kill them and try really hard to beat them.
Yeah, well, okay. So then I ran a poll about this on Twitter. And I just said, like, on average, how many ads are typically winning or holding up your ad account? And it seems to be split. So we've got like, and again, there's not that many votes on this, so take it with a grain of salt because nobody voted on Twitter. They did on LinkedIn, though, and I'll show you the differences between the two. On Twitter, it's like a 30-30-30, like 30%, 30%, 30%. 2 to 3 ads, 3 to 5 ads, 5 to 10 ads is what people are saying. On LinkedIn, it was very different. So let me go pull up this post. On LinkedIn, there was 113 votes, and 44% of the people on here said 2 to 3 ads are holding up the entire account. 32% says 3 to 5, and then 18% says 5 to 10. Only 4% of the people that answered this survey said they have 10 plus ads holding up the account. Yeah, so the majority of us, are somewhere between 2 and 5. Now, the reason this came up and how this kind of links back to like consumer behavior things, I had a good friend of mine who's running a bunch of like random tests for me in his ad account, where I'm like, just run this weird test. Like,
is it me?
You are part of the test. But Connor is part of the other test. So Connor, lovely friend, owns a couple brands. He's going to go run all these tests for me. And I asked him, why is it that statistically speaking, we have 2 to 5 ads holding up the account, but there's a large portion of us that are just like dumping volume in here? If you think about the math, shouldn't that rise equally? Like if you dump more ads, shouldn't there be more winners holding up the account? Like because of bell curves and shit?
Yeah.
But it's not happening. So like, why is that a thing? So then I went down this deep, dark rabbit hole of trying to figure out why this is happening. So that's why I'm asking you. Because I'm like,
I mean, I think it partially depends on like how are we defining a winner.
Okay.
So like, let me start there. When I say like, there's always been 3 or 4 ads that like take the bulk of the spend and are my winners. The next 20 ads, if they're on, means like performance is good on them. They're just not spending a lot. So there's been times where like, I think about like Q4s at OG, we'd have, a campaign that's spending $100,000 a day, like absolutely humming. One ad would spend $60,000. The next ad would spend 20. Yep. And then we'd have a bunch that are spending like a few grand a day each, but like all of them were performing well. And like some of them were selling different products and different watches. So like, I don't call those losers, but like, obviously it's that one ad that's like driving everything.
Okay. Yeah.
But like I found like when we launch a higher volume of ads, and for me, that means that spend threshold like 40 a week.
Okay. Yeah.
When we did that, I feel like we did find winners more quickly, and like spend got spread out for a time. But like eventually Facebook settled into like, hey, we have a new winner. We're going to go spend
Yeah.
60% of the money on that.
This is why I think this is happening too, because I've again went down a deep dive rabbit hole and finally found an article, like a study that was published around Meta's new lattice structure. So, and this is my interpretation, just call out for everybody in this room. This is just Sarah's view of what this article said. Please go do your own research. Don't tweet at me and be like, Sarah, you said. This is just my interpretation. Okay. The article, from what I can tell, basically has 3 different structures that they updated with Andromeda. The first one is unified, unified modeling. I need to pull up the actual article. Let me do that real quick. So what this kind of means is that they basically took the thousands of robots that used to look at all the different behaviors, like conversions and clicks and engagement, all this different stuff, and they squished them into basically like big ones, 4 or 5 big ones, right? Model unification. So now we have, instead of thousands, we got all these like big robots that will take a look at everything. It processes text, images, videos, and user behavior all at the same time. So that's the first thing they did. Second thing they did was they basically injected 2 different gates. Now, I posted about this a while ago and people got real mad about it because I was like, technically, it's an organic ecosystem that they're using now. And people were like, oh my God. I'm like, yes, but this is true. So they have 2 gates that you go through now. They have a 90-minute gate where all of your creative is being sent through this 90-minute window, where they're basically checking to see if anybody does anything with it. And then they will use a 7-day window, and then they'll use something called a Lattice Zipper to zip the 2 pieces of data together.
Interesting. So they're trying to measure like engagement first and then
Yes,
conversion.
They're measuring engagement first. Now, the way that
this actually explains what's going on in my ad account right now.
I'm like, what is happening? This is the reason why we're only seeing 2 to 3 ads at a time, because the machine is basically making a prediction from that 90-minute window. And the interesting part is it's almost like, imagine a little bit, there's a mathematician that sits with all these ads on the table, like cards, and the mathematician has tons of knowledge about how his students respond to content like this. So it'll just pick like ad 1 and ad 7 and say, based on what I know about these students, these are probably going to do well. And then it will dump the rest of them off the table. It literally starves them on purpose. So to me, I'm like, this is a great,
like
amazing.
Do you know what's happening in the Meta algo right now that I'm not happy about at all? Is it's essentially deciding, it's like you're playing a game of blackjack.
100%.
And you're deciding whether to hit or stand after you just get 1 card.
Yep.
So you get a 100%. King and you're like, yeah, hit me. But then the next card's a 3, but you already committed to the hit. And you're like, oh, I got a 13 now. This sucks. What do I do?
Yes. And you now have to decide, like, you have to tell Meta, like, how much I want to bet the whole fucking farm on these 2 cards. That's what Meta's technically doing. Which, again,
it's
doubling
down blind on every hand of blackjack.
It's doubling down blind. So every single time you load ad, and this is the reason why I'm like, this is such like a good indicator for me that I was right. That like we shouldn't be doing volume. You shouldn't be doing volume. If you're shoving 100 ads into the ad account, it has to push all 100 of those through that 90-minute window. It's only going to choose 2 to 3 anyways.
So that has always been my biggest gripe with the volume angle. And by volume, let's define it. More than 100 ads a week?
100%. So I did a poll on this to see what people thought. And volume, according to Twitter, is 100 plus.
So, okay, great. Yep. So when I've been in accounts that do this, we launch 100 ads, 90 of them don't spend more than $3.
Yes.
And I've always been like, that's not enough to get any kind of relevant learning going on here. It's not enough. Should we be launching ads in smaller batches but more frequently?
Ooh.
Like with if you want to launch 40 ads a week, is it better to launch 40 on Tuesday, or is it better to launch 10 on Tuesday and 10 on Wednesday and 10 on Thursday and 10 on Friday?
Well, and I'm trying to figure that out because I'm not entirely sure. Like I can't tell from the documentation. Meta does not give you a definitive run this many. Yeah. So
by the way, all this is Meta telling us what we've known forever, which is like, hey, they have to optimize for scroll time on their platform. They're not optimizing for our bottom lines. They're optimizing for theirs.
Yep.
They want us to put out more organic, engaging content so people stay on the platform longer, so they get more ad revenue, because their daily active user
Yes.
time is higher,
Yep. 100%.
which
So
is
what I'm
fine. But now we have to figure out a way to make that work for us too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's where I'm like, I think from what I can tell from Meta, it still seems to like a scaling campaign and a testing campaign, because if you throw
Never
everything
been a fan of
in,
that.
oh really? That's from what I can tell, this is kind of like a good general rule of thumb, because you're going up against winners who are
Yeah.
eating spend. And Meta's gonna throttle it. It's gonna say, compared to these 3 in this campaign, the rest of these are kind of shit. So we're just gonna not spend on it. It's too confusing. Like, Meta, give us some information. What are we supposed to do? I figured this out blind on my own. So, anyways, the way that I look at it is I want ads that spend. So I'm probably going to, should you drip feed or should you bulk post? I'm probably going to drip feed.
That's what I think too. Because at least
Yeah,
like
I'm
if we're
probably gonna drip
launching 10
feed.
at a time instead of
Yep.
40, each one will spend more.
Yes, 100%. So this is why I'm going for batches of maybe 10 at a time. I might be loading those a couple times a week right now just
Yeah.
to see what's going on, but I'm not going to turn them off until about that 7-day window because of Lattice Zipper.
Yeah.
You can't turn them off until 7 days because the zipper hasn't even done its job yet until day 7.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've been super out of touch on all the Meta updates. I got to listen to the marketing operators review of the Meta
Yeah.
Performance Summit too.
I need to
I've just
listen
been
to
writing banger headlines for my clients that are winning. So sorry, guys. So I've been very intentionally trying to take the advice of like, make good organic content work as an ad.
Yes.
And they're getting great engagement. They're not great at
Mhm.
selling product.
Oh, dang.
So like
Yeah, we
this,
gotta
and
get
like
into
they
this.
are, and like the product is very at the forefront of this content still.
Yes.
Like even though like
Mhm.
it's a more engaging, more organic kind of ad.
Mhm.
It's like people aren't confused that it's not an ad.
Mhm.
But that makes a ton of sense.
Yes, yes. So this is the reason why all of us have been like, well, what the hell? Nothing's working anymore. Well, this is why. Is because we had all of our like ugly ad UGC, very ADA style shit
Yeah.
package ready to go. We were like super good at it. And then they introduced this 90-minute, 7-day, like 7-day window, zipped them together. And so now the algorithm is going, your content is kind of shit in the 90-minute window. So we can't send it to people. And then it stopped working.
Have you ever seen, like firsthand seen a brand that has organic style content that crushes as ads? I can make organic content that does very well, gets, tens or hundreds of thousands of views, good engagement and shares for like my very niche target audience. I can also make ads that convert.
Yep.
There's no overlap in those two formats of content. And like I've been actively trying to do both the last 2 weeks, and performance is down, and I'm not pumped about it.
Okay. What is the name? I'm gonna have to pull up this brand.
Because like I feel like this is something that everyone has always preached of, like, make ads that don't look like ads, and like,
Yes.
take a great piece of organic content and turn it into an ad. I've just never seen it in practice, like consistently for a brand. Brands have had like one-offs that work. I've never seen anyone be able to like systematize this.
There is a brand on Instagram, which was apparently, I didn't know that this was a thing. 2 very young guys, I think they were like 19, 20, couldn't afford ads. So they went and they basically made content that was organic but ended with an ad. And I'm going to show you this content because it's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. And this brand has exploded because of this exact style of content. And I don't know what to think about it or what to do with it. So this is a brand. They're called Wants and Needs. They're basically like a streetwear brand. This is the style of content that they started producing on the organic side. And like I said, completely blew up massively. I have no idea whether they're running in the ad count, but this is what I think marketing is going towards. So this is an organic piece of content where they're just recording their boyfriend playing a game on the TV. And the whole piece of content, it looks organic. It's just watching a dude play a game. The interesting part is, as you go through the video, you're just in here hooked because it's gamified. We're going to see whether this guy is like doing anything, but it's the way it ends that's really fascinating. It ends with an ad. Now he's got the clothes on. Now he's like modeling, and there's like a follow in the background. there's a link in, but like it's a CTA. The
Yeah,
whole
but
organic
like,
piece ends with a CTA, but it's purely organic at the front.
okay, is this in their ad account though?
I
Or is this
don't
just
know, and that's
posted
what I need to figure
organically?
out.
All right. So let me tell you what's going on with shooting doubles these days. One, I'm out of stock of half my shit, so like everything's on pre-sale,
Okay.
which isn't helping. But I literally, before we hopped on this pod, I just turned off all of my ads that were like organic style content. Because they're sucking up all of the spend and overall ad performance sucks.
Okay.
So I am thinking about like, do I go the opposite way with this? And do I just triple down on organic content? Because like every single organic video I post, not everyone, most of them get good engagement. And I know for a fact organic views translate to sales.
Yes.
Like I've seen that since day one with this brand. Like, you know, a couple thousand organic views, it doesn't have to be a ton. Sells hats. So I'm just like, man, do I just instead of posting what I'm trying to post is, you know, 5 or 7 times a week, do I just post 21 times a week? Save the ad budget for more creators to fill my content folders up.
Yeah.
And scale it that way?
I mean, the organic creators would probably tell you yes, but the toughest part about that is you're going to have to be very consistent. You have to post every single day without fail. And whatever it is you're posting has to be interesting every time.
And trust me, like the advertiser in me does not like this. I've made my living on ads for a long
100%.
time, but I'm wondering, like, in the unique position of like, I'm only spending $1,000 a day on ads right now. Like it's not a ton. In the unique position where like my ad budget's tiny. Especially because I need that budget for more inventory. That's the thing that's really limiting our growth right now. Do I cut ads, buy more inventory, and triple down on just organic? Sorry, this turned into a free consulting call for my hat company.
Well, okay, and this we're trying to figure this out. This is the reason why I'm coming to you with it, because I'm like, based upon everything I read, Lattice, the 90-minute windows, and the zipper, right? They actually call it Lattice Zipper in the actual documentation. All of these new mechanisms that they have lean towards you need to make better content. The problem is, without seeing which ads you ran, what style of organic were you running? Was it actually organic, or did you think it was organic?
No, there's actually stuff that have performed well organically that I either edited like more product stuff into the end of it, or like the product was just at the forefront the whole time.
Interesting. So it wasn't this style though. It wasn't just like somebody running down a street doing something stupid, and then there was like a hat at the end.
No, it wasn't that.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm trying to decide. How much organic, right? Is 80% of the video pure organic just for entertainment?
Do you know what I haven't done that I probably should is, you know, I do those videos that do really well that I talk about, like the price I paid for this bottle compared to like the price I'd pay next time, how much I value it. Those crush.
So great. Yep.
And I think one of the reasons engagement's great on them is because like I'm holding people on till the end when I reveal what my value is. In between tasting it and giving the value, do I just have to be like, hey, by the way, these hats are available on shootingdoubles.com. And this whiskey, I'd pay $200 for it again.
I mean, kind of. Like, and that's kind of what I'm reading. Is just whatever you put into the ad account needs to be. And the marketer in me just doesn't like this. It just needs to be something that's interesting to watch. It needs to be gamified. It needs to be contrarian. It needs to be a fight between two people, or it needs to be like really deeply educational, deep on a subject that I just am really interested in. Like it has to be something consumable first.
Like yapper ads just about different categories of whiskey.
Well,
I can talk about what makes rye different than bourbon for 4
that'd be so interesting.
minutes. And if I'm doing that to camera, just with the hat on, like, is that all I need to be doing?
I think your customers too would love the history of it, because we've tested a couple historical graphics, right? And they've done incredibly well. Like, you know, 7,000 to 10,000 people.
Whiskey history would
love
be a good
whiskey
segment.
history. This is why I'm like, I don't think that we're going hard enough into organic. That's what I think is happening.
All right.
In the ad account.
Well, then I've got my marching orders from here.
Well, and again, this is just how I'm interpreting it. All I know is those 3 things were changed: model unification, 90-minute windows, lattice zipper. So
Yep.
because of that, though, I'm like, okay, organic. This reads you need to produce organic style stuff.
I'm gonna ask our fans for a favor on this episode.
Okay,
I want you guys to send me your best performing organic style content ads.
Ooh, okay,
I want to
yeah,
see what they are, and I want you to give me as much info as you're comfortable with, like on performance data. Like, did they take up the majority of spend in your account? Was performance good? Because like
yeah,
I've made my living on making ads that look like ads. Like
yep,
all of the ads that
yeah,
I've ever been a part of were definitely an ad. Nobody
mhm,
was ever confused that it wasn't an ad,
yeah,
and it's worked very well. So I've always like heard this and like thought about like, oh yeah, our ads should be more interesting to watch, like organic content is. Just
mhm,
never like kind of needed to get there. Maybe
yeah,
the tide's turning on that, but I'd love to see your guys'
yeah,
examples of like what's good organic style content that
yep.
performed in your ad account.
Yes, especially since, like, I think a lot of us are still trying to figure this out, and this is the reason why I bring it up, because I had a lot of people in my school, like, push back on me, and they were like, "I don't think this is right. Like, what do you think about this and this?" Please, dear God, everybody just come at me and help us figure this out, because
Yeah,
I'm just
let's find
telling
out.
you, like, what's changing. Some of us are gonna come in here and be like, "No, direct response, pure ads are working for me." And then some others are gonna come in and be like, "None of that has been working for 2 years, and this is what's working for me." So, I think it comes down to the type of content that you just get strong at creating. You are
Yeah.
very, very good at value based, which I think your audience really loves for some reason.
Yeah.
And I'm like, in the ad account, that might crush. It's crazy to think about what this means. Like, what does all of these changes that Meta just made, what does this mean for content? I think it actually gives us a lot more freedom as marketers to
Well,
build
we're gonna
something
find
that's
out. I'm
way
gonna
more
test some new
interesting.
stuff
Okay.
based on this.
Ooh, I'm so excited.
But yeah, no, this is super interesting. I do
Yep.
feel like the last chapter of Meta is coming to a close, and we're coming into
Mhm.
a new
Yes.
era right now.
This is going to be a weird time to be a media buyer, be a creative strategist, be a marketer. But I also think, like I said, it gives you way more freedom. You can try all kinds of weird stuff in here.
Yeah.
Like Yapper ads just started to take off. They've been doing Yapper on organic for 2
Forever.
to 3 years.
Right, yeah.
I mean, it's been a thing over there for a long time. That's why I'm like, don't get stuck thinking it has to be ad focused. I think you can do whatever the hell you want. As long as you're not loading 100 ads, because Meta's just gonna like dump 97 of them anyways. If you load, 10 at a time, a couple times a week, you're good to go. You probably don't need more than that.
I think that's
And then-
probably right for now.
Yeah.
Until
then
it's
again-
proven otherwise.
Do your own research, people. Again, disclaimer. Do your own research.
Thanks so much for listening to Brain Driven Brands. We will see you guys next time.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show today. Appreciate you guys listening. If you want to follow me, I'm at Sarah Levinger. Anywhere you consume content, he is at Nate Lagos. If you like this show and if you like this episode, go ahead and like, subscribe, share with a friend. Drop us a review when you have a minute. We would appreciate it. Otherwise, have a great week. We'll see you next time.